Today we're diving into one of my all-time favorite gaming franchises, Halo! But first, let me hit you with a fun fact. I've never played any of the Halo Online multiplayers. Yep, never. I've always been drawn to the story and the lore and the characters. If you're like me and you spent years immersed in the rich narrative of Halo, or even if you're new to the universe, this is a conversation you don't want to miss. Let's start with the beginning, Halo 2. This was my first real dive into the Halo franchise, and I couldn't have asked a better introduction. Just listen to this scene. It hits so hard, and it's so iconic.
Sir, permission to leave the station.
For what purpose, Master Chief?
To give the Covenant back their bomb.
Permission granted.
When you start out the game, it feels like you're getting into a massive space battle, and I really enjoyed that. And then being able to play on the ground with Master Chief, and then also swapping it to the character, the Arbiter, or Thalvatum. Everything felt larger, and this giant puzzle game that we had to piece together. It was perfect for me. What really hooked me into the Halo franchise after I played Halo 2 were the Sinheeli. I know everyone's about the Master Chief, but the elites, come on. They're so good! They're where my heart truly lies in this whole franchise. Their culture, their honor, and their sheer power on the battlefield were so compelling. Back then, I hadn't played Halo Combat Evolved yet, so I didn't have the full story about Halo. I was about 6 years old when I was playing Halo 2, so I was still relatively young and trying to figure out the franchise. And also my parents were not 100% sure if I should be playing a mature game. They allowed Halo 2, but Halo Combat Evolved was too much. But when I did play Halo Combat Evolved, the flood absolutely terrifies me. Like that flood level where you're completely lost and you have no way of actually getting assistance from Cortana. I was just scared the whole time. And I still am today. You can actually find my 2024 clip about me trying to do that section, and I was just dying every single time. But it was great. I love it, and the fear is now a core memory for me, so here we are. Good job, Halo. You're now part of my core memory. Now, I know some people love to write fanfiction about Master Chief and their self-inserted Spartan OCs, but I took a slightly different route. I wrote about the Sinheeli and romance. Yep, no Master Chief here. You could say that I was on the other side of the fight. Teehee. But seriously, I couldn't resist creating these intricate stories about the Sinheeli culture, some of their history, and internal conflicts that some of the characters may be experiencing. I mean, who needs Spartan armor when you got mandibles and plasma rifles? Am I right? Am I right? Moving on to Halo 3, it felt like the perfect ending to the trilogy. I remember thinking, finally, the Arbiter's going home! But at the same time, the universe still needed a lot of cleaning up, and I loved that. The Arbiter has always been a favorite of mine, and just like him, I couldn't catch a break when it came to my fascination with Halo lore. The way the story tied everything together while still leaving room for more kept me hooked, and I knew I would be a fan for life. Halo 3 ODST was such a refreshing change of pace for the series. Instead of playing as a super-powered Spartan, we stepped into the boots of a orbital, drop, shark, trooper. An elite soldier, sure, but still a human with minor augmentations. That shift made the game feel more grounded and more intense. You weren't a walking tank anymore. It was the change that Halo needed at the time. And it made ODST stand out as one of the most enjoyable experiences in the franchise. The cast of ODST was a major highlight. Every character had their own personality, their own voice, and yet they all felt connected. Playing through each of their sections and seeing how their stories intertwined really reinforced the idea that you were part of a team rather than a lone hero. It made the story feel more personal to me. And then there were the audio logs, one of the best additions to the game's storytelling. As you explored through the city, you can uncover Sadie's story, a tragic, gripping narrative of an ordinary person just trying to survive the Covenant invasion. Her relationship with Virgil was fascinating. It was a rare glimpse into the civilian side of the war, something we don't often get in Halo, and I love it. It added a whole new layer of depth to the experience, making New Mombasa feel alive. before the Covenant tore it apart. Speaking of Virgil, the reveal of the Huragok was one of those moments that really stuck with me. They weren't just tools for the Covenant. They were intelligent, gentle beings forced into servitude. Seeing that play out in ODST left me genuinely sad for them. All of these elements made ODST such a special game. It wasn't just a side story, it is a critical piece of the Halo universe that gave us a new perspective of the war. Now, I want to talk about a game that impacted me on a deeper emotional level, Halo Reach. Up until this point in my childhood, I was used to games where we win at the end. But Reach? It felt like the first time I truly lost. I was about 11 or 12 years old at the time, and after finishing the game, I remember sitting down with my parents to talk about it. They didn't know about the story of Reach, but we ended up discussing about how not all heroes make it home. It was a very open discussion, and my parents took the time to listen to me and understood where I was coming from, and also trying to teach me something very important. That was the game's power. It hit hard, which was more than just a game. It was an experience that forced me to confront the reality of sacrifice. Halo 4 holds a special place in my heart for a much more personal reason. My dad and I were playing it together during one of the toughest times in our lives. He was battling skin cancer, and playing Halo 4 was our way to bond, to escape from everything that was going on in our lives. It was our time to forget the worries and enjoy the story, and that's something I'll carry with me forever. Halo 5 was a unique experience for me. Playing as Spartan Locke felt fresh and exciting. I know the game has its critics, but for me, Locke's character, especially after watching Halo Nightfall, made it all worth it. I was incredibly hyped to play Halo 5, especially to explore San Helios. Spartan Vale's introduction immediately stood out to me. She quickly became a character I connected with for obvious reasons. And the San Helios missions, absolutely breathtaking. The planet was stunning, and I will never forget those moments, like the San Heli creating poetry for his crush, or just the conversations around the camp. The small details made it unforgettable. Then we have Halo Infinite. Oh man, this game brought back so much love for me. The Banished being the main enemy after being introduced in Halo Wars 2, and all of the new characters made the universe feel so much more alive again. And the San Heli designs, absolute perfection. Every time I see Elite in this game, I'm reminded of how much I love them. Even though many of the Banished characters were labeled as dead, I'm really hoping they're brought back in future books or comics. I really want to explore their stories, and I feel like they have so much more to tell with them. Let's talk about characters. One of my all-time favorites is Rataz Vadum. From the moment I saw him in Halo 2, I was drawn to his character. I was so curious about how he lost half of his jaw. I love his story is getting fleshed out with Halo Shadow of Intent and the comics, and I was overjoyed to see him return in Halo Empty Throne. He's such a fascinating character with his leadership qualities and how he thinks on the battlefield. He gives off such ride or die energy, and I love it. Catherine Halsey is another character who's always intrigued me. Every time I dive into her story, I'm left questioning her choices. She's not a military leader, but she's so powerful in how she can bend military figures to her will. Her complexity is something that I admire, especially when she has doubts about the Spartan project. The way her AI Doja reminds her that the sacrifice of 100 children could save millions makes you question the whole ethics about the entire project. And that's why I love her character. She challenges you to think about the hard choices. How if you never want to risk 1,000 lives to save the one. Then there is Evan Phillips from the Kilo 5 trilogy. His academic curiosity about the San Heli immediately resonated with me. He's actually the base for many of my original characters in my fanfictions. His enthusiasm for learning about the elites mirror my own, and that connection made him one of my favorites. In Halo Infinite, two characters quickly became favorites for me. First, we have Chaklock. He is calm and polite, and honestly, I think he'd be a blast to sit down with for tea time. There's so little we know about him, and his introduction boss scene is just flawless. I'm dying to know more of his story. And then there's Jega Undandai. He is so interesting because he goes against what we traditionally know about the Sinheeli. When he was connected to the Halo Evolution Headhunters animation, I was beyond excited and thrilled. His character deserves more story time, and I really hope he's still alive. If anyone ever makes more short animations like Halo Legends or Evolutions, my life will be complete. I absolutely love the Halo books. They are what consistently draws me back into the Halo universe time and time again. There's something captivating about the depth of lore they explore and the new perspectives they offer. In addition to the books, I thoroughly enjoy reading all the short stories on the Halo Waypoint. These stories add even more layers to the universe, and I eagerly look forward to each new one every time they're released. They are what keep the magic of Halo alive for me in such an engaging way. The two that stand out to me the most are my favorites is Halo Glasslands and Halo Contact Harvest. Halo Grasslands. With Professor Evan Phillips being one of my favorite characters, it would be amiss not to mention the book that made me fall in love with his story. This book and its sequels added incredible depth to the Sinheeli. The scene where a crowd of Sinheeli surrounds Phillips, amazed by his ability to speak their language and solve their Arum puzzles, was unforgettable. Halo Contact Harvest. Everyone should read this book. It details the beginnings of the Human Covenant War, revealing how everything came together. Reading how the events were manipulated to disrupt the Covenant's balance power for the Jirahane to take over, and setting the stage for Halo 2 and 3's events with the Great Schism. This is essential reading for any Halo fan. I used to share my Halo books with friends, and it became a major topic of discussion during lunch breaks. Halo was a common ground that brought us together and sparked countless meaningful conversations. Let's talk about Halo Nightfall. I really liked this series, and honestly, it deserved more than just one story arc of 5 episodes. The first episode gave us a glimpse into the post-war daily life, showing how people managed in the aftermath. It's the side of the Halo universe I wish we could have explored more often. And then the horror elements on the Halo ring, some of the scenes were definitely scary to me. And then the Spartan slash ex-Spartan who sacrificed himself to help Locke was such a powerful ending. I would have loved to see a second season, perhaps focusing on Locke hunting a Spartan and developing his skill set. Watching him grow into the character we meet in Halo 5 would have been incredible, but I'm still happy with the season that we got, as it did help explore Locke's character and how he developed into his today version. Then there's Halo Legends, easily my favorite. Please give us another, please. I'm begging. I need another. The side stories in Halo are one of the main reasons why I love this franchise so much. Every short story had a different perspective, a different purpose, and showcased actions that rippled out into the larger story. There are so many untold stories in this universe, and Halo Legends provide how captivating they can be. Just give me some more. Please, I'm begging. More. So, why do I love Halo? It's simple. It's more than just a game to me. It's a universe that's been with me since my childhood, filled with characters I care about, stories that challenge me, and personal memories that shaped who I am. From the victories of Halo 3 to the losses of Reach to the hope I have felt playing Halo 4 with my dad, Halo is part of my life, and there's just so many more memories left to make. What about you? What's your favorite Halo moment? Who are your favorite characters? Let's get the conversation started in the comments below. Until next time!